Hello and welcome to another episode of the Electric Norwegian. This time we're out with the Ford Transit E, or is it E-Transit? Doesn't really matter. This is a big one, literally. This is a big car, and it's an important car, at least in Europe, because Transit, Crafter, Sprinter, all of those big vans really are the mainstay of the European, the carpenters and the cargo, local to medium haul cargo and all of that stuff, intercity and all of that. These are important cars and they really need to be electrified. This in many ways a Transit that Ford has just thrown batteries in, which is a good thing because the Transit has been in production now for donkey's years and it's full of good smart solutions after all. Sorry about all the fossil cars going by. This is a big door. It's a big car. I mean, really, this big. Look, you can stand in here. And here you have you have to activate it from the screen in the car. You have they call this Pro Power. You have 230 volt, 10 amps, 2.3 kilowatts. Two of them. Plug in your power tools. If you need to run something, pump, water pump, maybe whatever. This thing should be standard on every single electric van out there. Could just be interested standard directly. Two doors. This is probably not standard. I don't know. You can configure this in a million different ways. And yeah, you can see yourself. 15.1 cubic meters of cargo. That's the big one. This is the smaller one, and so on. Here you have your. You could have put a charge port here, but they haven't. The charge port actually is in the front here, which is either good or bad depending on where you stand on that. Door doesn't actually move, but still it's not exactly a bad place to. Here you have something. They have space, big door pockets, space here, space. Don't put your phone there because that's crashing here, so you're gonna break it. Auto hold, lights, all of that stuff. Cup holder, charger, power socket, space. Space. There's a lot of rooms that. Oh, that's another power socket. Look, and this another cup holder if you needed one, which looks like something like Saab actually could have built. I really like this one. And you have one big there, but you know. Instruments. You can actually, how does this work? Digital speedo. Okay, it just turns into a digital speedo. Well, fair enough. Your standard rotary dial, gear dial, camera, and it's a big clear screen. Big car, big. It's really just nice. This is okay. You cycle through those. Fair enough. Normal, eco, and slippery. And you have your standard Ford here, really. All relatively quick. It's a bit of lag on it, but it doesn't really. Here you have the Pro Power on board. You can configure it, turn it on or off, I guess. 200 watts. Okay, it tells you how much it pulls actually. Okay, fair enough, good enough. You can turn it on and off here. I like this thing. and you have your nav and all of that stuff. There also you run your wireless CarPlay and Android Auto and whatever, the usual stuff really. This is electric, at least here. You have more. Up here you can see you have storage. It's priced at, what was the price? I'll put it down there, 400 and something thousand I think. And that's actually not as bad as you might think, compared to what these kind of things normally cost, because the price of them has gone up quite considerably. Oh! I can see the height above the sea, 118 meters. It's cute. We wouldn't need to electrify these big vans. I've been saying that for years, and now it's beginning to come. And some will say the range is too small, and that might be a fact. Fair enough. But this is a start, and it's a good start. At least insofar as you can have so many power sockets, you can actually use the car for more. It becomes more than just a car, and you don't have to have all those inverters that you sort of piggyback on the 12 volt, and then it's done badly and it catches fire, which is, you know, it happens a lot. It happened to a colleague of mine in another car he had. The inverter caught fire and then it was just run away, literally run away. You have an 11 kilowatt hour onboard charger. The quick charger, I'm not entirely certain yet. I'll put it in text if I find it, but they say around, give it around half an hour, 40 minutes, and you, a lunch break basically, and you're off again. Car indicates more or less fully charged, and it was fully charged when I left the shop at Sulland.no in Sarpsborg. And it's just a few kilometers from there to my home, so it's not really gone that far. It indicates 207 kilometers. It's supposed to be able to do 317 kilometers. Of course, it won't do that in real life, but the seller said he had, with a bit of motorway driving, gotten at least 25 kilometers out of it, which I must say is rather impressive, because as you can see, this is a big car. I mean, the transit van comes, for those of you who don't know, in every conceivable configuration. It comes with a low roof, with a high roof, as a pickup truck, as a short version, as a long version, as it's just, I don't know exactly how many. I know just this electric car, this electric version comes in at least 3 different ones, I think, with possible adaptations probably on top of that again. So it's not one car, this, but this will be a test of this specific version, and of course generally of the transit. If I kick it, it doesn't pick up like it's not a Tesla, but it's linear, and this is a quick car. I mean, considering the size of the thing and the weight of the thing, because it's not a light thing, and you can load it with a lot, so it can actually weigh, I think 4.2 tops, depending on how you build it, and so on and so on. But there's no diesel, there's no rattling, there's no drivetrain, nothing. Of course not. It's electric. It's just, it's not that many years ago that VW came out with the e-Crafter, where they took the battery of the e-Golf, which was about 15 kilowatt hours or whatever it was, and stuffed it in a big fat Crafter and said, this is an electric car for all the people out there. It wasn't really, because it didn't go very far, because it's a pure, this is a 67 kilowatt hour battery pack. It's actually surprisingly, I'm not going to call it, well, it's almost small for this class of car. It is after all a big car, but it is it's also, for the time being, it says we're running 300 watt hours per kilometer, which isn't actually bad. It sounds awful, but when you look at this thing, it isn't at all. The electric van I run at work, which is smaller than this, more size of a VW transporter, runs about the same in consumption-wise. So of course now we just run through the city, so I'll see how it looks when we get into the motorway later. I must say this: the regen and all of that stuff here, it's really nice and smooth. It's strong, or you can choose that, but it's not, you know, too strong or anything. And yeah, it has adaptive cruise, by the way, and also you have auto hold on the brakes, so if it goes to stop, it stops and it holds itself. You don't have to, you know, brake, and it remembers it. In many cars, these kind of systems tends to reset to zero, so you have to turn them on every single time you get in the car, which is tedious and stupid, particularly when you're used to a Tesla, which just registers everything on your profile. You know, you don't really have to remember anything anymore because everything is there. And yeah, now we even got them cloud-based, so hoorah. This Ford system, the Sync 4, same as in the Mach-E and probably many other new Fords, it's just simply brilliant. Some people complain it's laggy and it's blah and it's this and that, and I like it. Sure, it's not as racer crisp as the latest Ryzen Model 3, but it isn't. That's not the point. It's big, it's buttons, it's easy to use, it's logical, unlike the Peugeot and unlike VW, and it's you can interact with it with relative safety while you're driving, and that's the important bit. That's the important bit after all. But it's also quiet in here, and it's comfortable, and it now reports 196 watt hours. No, sorry. It now reports 196 kilometers and 270 watt hours per kilometer. So yeah, you know, it's a van, so it's not really that much more to report. Now we're doing about 35 kilometers an hour. Kick it. We're doing 50, 60, 70, and we're doing 80. And it still pulls. It still goes. I'm speaking of this transit. I have one in my back, in my mirrors. It can't do this. So I must say this is sweet. It sort of runs at a puff when it passes, but you know, it does seem, I must say, I'm impressed by the efficiency of this thing. Seemingly the chip computer is still doing around 300 watt hours, which isn't half bad at all. Been on the road now for 1 hour. Well, 1 hour, I say. That depends a bit on the well, it was a small filming session there of the interior while the car was on but stationary. But anyway, it doesn't really matter. An average speed of 35 kilometers an hour, so not very much. I've been driving 43 kilometers. We have used it was roughly about 20% battery, and the consumption resets every time we park it. But now we're running 300 watt. Now we're running 300 watt hours, which isn't bad at all considering this big lump of a thing. There's not much tire noise in here. Actually, it's pretty quiet on that front. It's a lot of wind noise though, mostly possibly because of the huge mirrors that this thing actually requires to function. It's a big car, you need mirrors. You need proper mirrors on this one, and you have that, thankfully. So, and it's Ford, so it's sort of competent in the corners. It's not a sports car, but because of the low center of gravity of this, it sort of can chuck it about. Not in any way, sense or form is it a Taycan, but still, considering what it is. But of course, Ford has always been good at that, at least for the last 20 years or so. Now it's on to the motorway soon. Now we're on the motorway and we're doing 115 kilometers an hour with this big car. This is The Hongqi is not this big. The e-tron, Audi e-tron is not this big, and it runs an average since we left, since we got the coffee, which is half an hour ago. We have a running average of 350 watt-hours per kilometer, and that's just pathetically low. After all, I'm impressed by these cars' consumption numbers. I'm sure they could have been lowered if you'd done a lot of things, this and that, but it shows Ford have done a few things to begin with. Otherwise, with this thing, right now, with this on the motorway, would have used a lot more energy. Either that or the consumption numbers just, they just went up to 360, but yeah, still. They're staying around 350, which is rather, really isn't bad at all. We've been doing, in total, we have traveled, since we picked up the car, we traveled almost 70 kilometers, and it says we're going to do around 140 left. We might just do 200. And it's any battery size of 67.5 kilowatt hours. This isn't bad at all. I can't say it is. Well, if we hit that, of course, we'll see. But still, so far it looks to be relatively realistic on the range meter, and that's nice. Sound system is, considering this is a van, and vans have always had crap sound system as out of the box. This is good. This is really nice. It's bass. You have the all of the things where it's supposed to be. Descant, the treble, all of that stuff is nice. Everything can of course be better. Then you have to fix that. But straight out of the box, this plays well enough, I think. Most people just put it on the radio after all, and you really don't care. And it's quick up to around 100 kilometers an hour. After that, it sort of falls off a bit. Not entirely, it's just a bit slightly outpowered diesel. But that's what these cars normally used to be like. So you know, it's not exactly not a bad thing. It's quiet in here. Yes, there's a bit of wind noise, of course, but it's a big car. There's huge mirrors, so it's not much tire noise at all. It's actually surprisingly quiet. We've used about 30% of the battery probably. So yeah, this looks, now got the first warning at 17%, 16% low battery, which is fair enough. We have traveled 168 kilometers, 167. Indicated 32 kilometers left, so it's gonna stay. Yeah, 200 seems reasonable. 200 seems very accurate, actually. Well, lights might have been could have been a little bit better. It's good on the sides, decent, but you know, difference between the full beam, the high beam, and the low beam isn't all that much. But of course I've seen a lot worse than this, so all in all, you know, it's a pass. It's a pass. Now we're charging. We're at what are we at? We're at 40% now. Been here for, we started at 11%. We're now charging at 85 kilowatts. As you can see here, it was at 98 or something like that. So it's quite okay actually. Fairly alright. Fairly alright. Yes, we've been here for 16 minutes roughly. Just to sum up the car, comfortable to drive, good sound system, relatively quiet, powerful enough, ranges around 200 kilometers on a mixed day like today. Possibly you can get closer to more than that. I think maybe you can do 250 on a nice run without the motorway driving. But we had an average consumption of 330 watt hours, which is really impressive considering this car's size and all of that stuff. So the Ford e-Transit, well done Ford. This is a car, I really like this thing. It is just a joy to drive. So thank you to Sulland.no for lending me the car, and hope you liked the video. Do comment, subscribe, and all that stuff, and like it, of course. And I will see you in another one. Take care. Bye bye.